hope everyone's doing okay. I wasn't here yesterday because I had to drop my dad off at the airport, but yeah, but I'm here today to possibly finish Ace Attorney or Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And then if that doesn't take too long, I might go to the next game, the next one, but we'll see. But hey, Pirko, how's it going? I'm doing okay. I'm not at the 100% peak performance right now, but not too bad. um, but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Let me just change this to Switch. There we go. And then we'll be off. Yeah. But yeah, yesterday, I don't know, I woke up bad because of school, but great because a good friend decided to offer me Hollow Knight. That's really nice. That's cool. But yeah, yesterday, I don't know, I woke up kind of feeling like... Or I woke up feeling fine, and then throughout the day I started feeling kind of like shit. I don't think I was sick. Or yesterday I might have had a cold. Today I woke up fine. Just my allergies were nuts. So I think it was like a mix of that. Yeah, because last night, whenever I feel like kind of sick, or if it feels like allergies, I wear a mask to sleep. And I did that and everything was fine. So I think it's mostly allergies. And I think because of the change of seasons, change of the season, my allergies decided to be really rough. So, yeah. Because, you know, the change of... I think seasonal allergies aren't just like spring. For me, it's just the change of the season just fucks my body up. So we'll see how it goes. So I might not be at peak performance today. My throat's a little, like, sore, I guess. But, yeah, my allergies tend to be kind of bad. Anyway. Hopefully I can solve this today. This is the longest case I think I've done, maybe. Because the investigation was really long. Or it could just be that I started later than I usually did, so... Anyway, here we go. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. What's the story so far? So... God, how do I explain it? So... So, we did some investigation... last time. I think last stream was just investigation. I might be wrong. And, God, brain, work with me here. I might have to look at my own stream. We did some investigating. We snuck into the chief's room because he's suspicious. Found some evidence, and then the defendant gave us some more info about being used, and God, I don't know, just shit happened. But we haven't brought all that information to court yet. Is it the one where I got the spray bottle? No, because that was the first investigation, right? Or like the second investigation? I don't remember how many. I think it was like the second time we investigated. So we were investigating like things we found from the spray bottle. Oh, let me see if I can... Oh, this is the case, yes. This is the case. We unloaded we found quite a few things last time. Yeah. I haven't moved on to the new case, because this is the last case of this game. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? But yeah, you were here for a little bit of it, I remember. And where's Emma, for the matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Yes, Mr. Police Chief not wanting things to be brought up. Oh, Edgy. He's here. Oh right, he's the prosecution of this case. I forgot. My brain's going nuts. Also, there's like a little thing that's bothering me. Give me a sec. There we go. Okay. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Playing Hollow Knight for like 1 hour and I already beaten False Knight and Hornet. I've never played Hollow Knight. The only game I played similar to that is probably... The only game that's similar to that I've played is probably, what is it? Ori and the Blind Forest. A wild Meat-chan appeared. Hello. Hi hi. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7 set- oh god. Yeah, we know who the owner of that ID number is. It's the chief. So he was there earlier. Really recommend Hollow Knight. I've thought about playing it. The only problem I have with it right now is Ori and the Blind Forest, I never finished it. I did stream a bit of it, and then I got kind of... I got a little bored of it. Or frustrated with it. I might play it again. But, they're pretty similar. So we'll see. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Yeah. Who could it be? Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. Yeah. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. Yeah, we know. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. No, but she's not. Well, I mean... She did try to hide who did it, but she didn't kill the man. She definitely did not do it. We know that for a fact. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. Yeah, cause... Okay, so... We figured out that... Oh, what was it? Jake Marshall, the cowboy dude, the cowboy officer, his brother was killed in the SL9, case. He was killed at that case as the last victim of a serial murder. God, words. And so that's why he was doing all that digging and stuff. And I think Gant and Lana made up some evidence, tampered with the evidence, and Edgeworth used it, not knowing it was forged. Forged, that's the word, forged evidence. For some reason, which we don't really know why they would do that. And then Lana got a message for, in this case, that, here's the message. I think we have it, maybe? Maybe not. Okay, no, we don't have it. But Lana told us that she got a message saying that, Detective Goodman's body is in the trunk of Edgeworth's car. Go deal with it. Which, that's suspicious as fuck, so it's obviously the police chief, but we don't have any proof that he really did any of the stuff, so it's really hard to do. It's really strange. I don't really understand why he would do it. What his motivation for killing the guy is. We don't know. I want to know how much respect I have. Are you? Wait, is that a question or is that I changed to fresh hoodie I wore 2 days since I got it? I'm really confused. But anyway, she told Yeah, she told him, or her to do it. He told her to put a fresh hoodie for your stream. Oh, thank you! Awesome, thank you. But yeah, so... God, what was I saying? No, I totally understand. It's hard to put on, like, fresh clothes sometimes, though. So I appreciate it. So yeah, he has some dirt on her, or something that's making her do his every whim to make it seem like she was the murderer, and her to confess that she killed the man, even though she didn't do it. And I don't know how we're gonna get that information out of her. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident, yeah. We don't have time to reminisce about the past, but it's true, that depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. It's a thin hoodie that was in cold closet. It's blue and has some black. It's got some kind of black veins. I only wore it 2 times since I got it. Sounds interesting. Some black veins and... I'm just wearing a black hoodie. It's pretty. It sounds cool. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Alright. Anyway. The murder was a setup to make her look like the murderer. And she was in on it too. It's really weird. Maybe you can send on Discord. It's up to you, dude. If you want to show it up. Or show it off. I can't speak. I'd like to see it though, sounds cool. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Also, apologies, I should have said earlier, there's gonna be a few, clearing your throat sniffles and a lot of drinking, tea and stuff. The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution is ready. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Oh, the police chief, the one that's behind all this shit? Of course. Oh, Chief Gant. There he is with this uncomfortable smile. And the uncomfortable oh god, I hate him. He makes me so uncomfortable. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Edgy, been back to the pool yet? He's always talking about the pool. No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? God, stop. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. Did she now? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Yeah, no, please, not that. Come on. Lana! What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. No! Lana, don't do it! No! No! She didn't do it though. She stabbed an already dead body. We know this. Or I know this. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. No, 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 come on. Come on, that's bullshit. I went through all that trouble to find the evidence last time. Are you kidding me? Come on. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. Lana. Is it because Okay, Gant asked Emma to talk to him alone. Is this because of that? Is he holding her hostage? Edgy. One moment, Your Honor. Oh. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, hmm? Gant, you son of a bitch. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Where should you put the picture? Oh, I should, I guess for now, just put in general. I don't... I don't really know what other channel I would make for that kind of thing. I think general should be just fine. Oh, Edgeworth, tell him how it is. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Alright, let's check this out. Oh, so kind of like a tie-dye. I like it. Looks neat. Kind of tie-dye, but not as colorful. Or tie-dye design-ish. I don't know. But I like it. It looks really cool. Some kind of deal, hmm? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Lana. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation, and we are dismissing it. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Black hoodies are gods, yeah. Oh my god, a lot of my clothes, I don't, like, when I used to go out clothes shopping a lot more often, of course now I don't, but, I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna go in, not get a t-shirt, and not get a black shirt, you know? Or like, you know, because t-shirts I buy too many, now I have way too many. I end up buying like one t-shirt and it's like black, like, come on. Or like hoodies, they're all black. I have like 2 or 3 of them right now, and only one of them is like a different color. I like black clothes better than white, but white clothes look better on you. I like some white clothes, but the problem is they get stained really easily, and like white tends to be see-through a little bit, even if it is a thicker quality. I don't know. I like the way black looks on me a little more. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Unless you have something to hide. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Gant, you sound so suspicious. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. All the time when I have white clothes, I always eat orange food. Yeah, I don't... It's always like... something like that, or something that stains really easily, or is messy to eat. It's so annoying. Come on, Emma, speak the truth. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. You're a student. Oh my nose. Okay, we're fine. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Okay, give me a sec. Oh, excuse me, the sneezes are coming in. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. Oh. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. No, you, ma'am, are a professional dumbass like everyone in this court besides Phoenix, yeah. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? It is. Yes, it most certainly is. Especially the judge, I was just thinking that. Well, okay then. Prime example right there. Now. Please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. Come on, Emma. Don't lie about this. We don't want Gant to win, asshole. Alright, I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Alright. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's fair. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent. Oh, Your Honor. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. We'll press everything. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was the second in command under the deputy chief of police, Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Alright. I believe they shared the same office. It's still set up the same way, too. Imagine stabbing on the chest. I think people forget. I mean, not only that, but like, where on the chest, too, matters as well. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. That fucking ridiculous. Why are we talking? The best way to stab? That's not a good conversation to have. But, I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah. I agree with that, though. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. Joe Dark, right? Yeah. He was a serial killer. He was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him and that would lead to an arrest. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Okay. Neil Marshall rescued me. Many then cut air circulation, yeah. If you know the workings of the body, the brain is the main control, right? So, if that doesn't get the oxygen it needs, then... This is such a bad topic. But this case is about murder, so I guess it's fitting. That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Yeah, that's what I was wondering last time. Where was Gant? Why did Marshall chase after him, but Gant just stay there? Unless Gant came out at a slower pace. Almost forgot about him, yeah. Neil Marshall just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was first to run after dark. Oh, maybe, yeah. When dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on dark and then the lights went out. It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. Okay. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? After that you got the brain, yeah. But just then lightning flashed again outside, and then that sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. Will be bloody though, yeah. I think a lot of people don't when people get hurt on the head, a lot of people start to panic because there's a lot of blood. I know a lot about killing stuff but not hiding the weapons, yeah. I think people panic when you get a head injury. I mean, head injuries are nothing to laugh about, you know, they're bad, but like sometimes they look worse than they are because there is a lot of blood flow in your head. I mean, there needs to be, right? There needs to be a lot of circulation. Because I think the oxygen, the air is traveled through also like your blood, like in your red blood cells. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I learned science, stuff like that. But I think that's the case. So I think people, you know, that's why there's a lot of blood when it's a head injury. If I'm remembering correctly. I told the detective about what I saw then. Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Right! I forgot about that. I'm gonna learn more about human body and science this year. Let's hear more after I save. Just in case. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. That's what's so scary about this trial, and you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. At the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. We have the picture, I think. I want to ask about the picture, yes. Oh no, yes, save. I believe it has a very important meaning. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Then the man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. But yeah, a chest wound, like a knife wound like that, wouldn't kill him instantly. So if she found him dead already that fast, then something else must have happened as well. Also, I think I have the image. Wait, let me see, because this evidence list, I don't know if it was this one? Yeah. Maybe he got the heart though? I don't know. Because here's, I think this is the picture that... Magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this, yeah. Maybe I can present this. The music stopped! Perfect! Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for the case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, I have the picture. We found it. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Yep, but turn it over. On the back, dude. There we go. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Exactly. There we go. Why do I enjoy talking about murdering people? I don't think it's the murder part, but the fact that there's so many ways. I don't know. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. These lists? They're different from each other. It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. It's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. Oh no! It's not his fault. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait, why? Wait. Why would Goodman... Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Did Edgy never look at the back of his picture? I mean, his list? It's possible. Let's see. Oh. Oh no, he never looked. Do you even have to ask? Oh my god. Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. Is that thing? Oh. Wait, it's the blue badger. Why? That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. It has to be Gant. Who else could it be? Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Excuse me. Gumshoe? No, it's not Gumshoe. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Taihokun strikes again. I don't know the Japanese names, dude. Only on some of them, like Naruhodo. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Oh my god. Huh? Oh, yes sir, Your Honor. Know the judge's name in Japanese? I have no idea. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. So we don't... His name is fucking Tony. After that I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Wait, if you could only see shadows. What if it was Gant? To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. I don't know. Now I'm not so sure. Because... what we've seen of... I don't have a photo of it, because we didn't get one. Because... I don't think so. When we saw... Make yourself a drink? Yeah, go ahead, dude. I totally... when we saw an image of Neil dead on top of Joe Dark's body when Joe Dark was passed out. So why would he be passed out with the victim's body on top of him? That doesn't make sense to me. Someone else must have killed him or knocked himself out. This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see was shadows. So we don't know for sure if it was Joe Dark. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. What if that wasn't Joe? I don't know. It's so hard. That's when the lightning flashed. Just glad she wasn't hurt, yeah. After that, I must have fainted. No. But the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint, yeah. Oh. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Was the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No. Cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. What do I have? I don't know if showing that picture means anything, but... Wait, but... Wait, let me look at this one more time, because if she drew it, she must have drawn that window too, right? I'm gonna present this and see if that works. Nope, it didn't work. No. Okay, drew 2 years ago. Wait, will this work? Because here, it says, Neil's autopsy report, stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. But in here, it looks like he's being stabbed in the front, right? Or is that pushing it? Oh, it's pushing it. No. Hold on. Back? Welcome back. What'd you get? What do I have that would help? Because that obviously... Sparkling water, mint leaf, and lemon juice. Oh, sounds good. And ice, of course. I'm kind of confused on this. There must be something. The flash's lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. There has to be a contradiction somewhere, I just don't know. I'm so stuck. What can I show? Could I show found in cheap against safe evidence for something, but what bears Emma Sky's prints? So she must have done something. So... show the DL6 case file, the favorite file. I don't have that, unfortunately. Oh no, things are falling. No. Okay. My desk is an absolute nightmare of a mess right now, I'm sorry. Okay, so... God, he also has that smile in this fucking photo. I mean, I tried showing this and it didn't work, right? Here, I'm gonna look it up, just so I know I'm doing real quick. So... okay, so... alright. I don't know... it's telling me to do this. I already did that, didn't I? Or did I present it at the wrong time? Because this is what I was thinking. It said he was stabbed in the back. try it again. Are you kidding? I just did it the wrong one? Is that it? I showed it on the first line? Okay, that's my bad. My bad. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew, I felt like it worked in the first line too, probably, but I guess not. Joe Uji. Contains a blatant contradiction. Yeah, because, yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier, you know? Stabbed in the back, but it looks like he's being stabbed in the chest. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy? Wait, is it this? Because the blade... Why is this so blunt, also? I was wondering that a while ago. I could try that. The TL6 case file, of course, yeah. It has to be. It's all in the case file. Okay, I'll try this. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Yeah, but it was broken when it was in the body, right? Yeah, but why would it be broken before it was hit? Before it was... I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back, which is weird because it looks like he's about to be hit in the chest, mind you. Okay, I need to move some of this shit that I have. I'm so sorry. Okay. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. But then why would the thing be in the body? Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. No, I apologize because the noise it might make if I move stuff, that's all. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. Exactly. That's right, but what does that mean? Personally, don't hear the noise. Okay, I just want to make sure. Cover all bases and stuff. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. He's not wrong, he asked. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. You mean someone stuck the knife tip in the body? Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. Imagine your student standing between two grown men yelling at each other with the dumbass judge behind you. Yeah, oh my god. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark, along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. Oh, I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife, but it was a man, the man was holding up a broken knife, but you don't know who the man is, for sure. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. There is! We have one! Could there have been one? There is another one. Let me save. There is another one, guys. I mean, if it comes to the fact that that broken knife that I know of can be detached, then yes. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. Oh, I assume then that you have some other information about this, or have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. Box cutter. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. We have it. Look at this. Fucking look at it. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. No, I'm No, I totally get it. You'd have to get one that has like a good lock system though in it. Right here inside this picture. Oh, Edgy, you see it too! It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. It has a knife on it. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing room, or in the drawing, was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Dun dun dun. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. Wait. So, what if... what if Gant was the killer, and then to help Lana Skye get into the prosecutor's office, become the chief? That's a sword, yeah. So get rid of the guy who got the reward that was most likely gonna be the chief prosecutor. Again, this I'm like, I don't know. Just an idea that popped up. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. It was just an award that he got. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. I mean, that's true, but... yeah. So maybe he took out the thing to defend himself. No, but, okay, think about it. Okay, so... we have the image of his death, right? Of this guy being stabbed in the front. So let's say Joe Dark was on the ground instead, and oh my god. Okay, so all Emma saw were shadows. What if it was like this? So Joe Dark is on the bottom. And then Neil is on the top with the knife, right? And Emma, she says she blacked out, so maybe she really doesn't remember. But what if she stabbed Neil in the back? Either she killed him or Gant killed him, I don't know. But someone stabbed him, Neil, in the back. And then, like, someone used the pot to, I don't know, hurt Joe Dark to make him pass out. I don't know exactly what. And so maybe that's why there's this piece of cloth that has Emma's handprint on it. Something like that? I don't know. Anyway, that's my theory right now. We'll see if there's more information given out, because we don't have too much yet. But maybe that's why Lana is also so in his grasp, in Gant's grasp, because he has that info. I don't know. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. And Emma only saw shadows. No, but she only saw shadows, so maybe that's exactly what happened. I want Gant dead, yeah. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. What? Mr. Edgeworth, could you show me your evidence list again, please? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. I was thinking that too, actually. Because when you look at the picture, if she was drawing the whole scene, then she would show the whole window. And if you see, the whole window is drawn on the upper corner here. I don't know why it's sideways like this. But you know, on the upper right and the lower right, if you flipped it, that would be the top of the grand windows in the office. And so maybe, yeah. So I do believe she drew it, because there's no way that the chief would draw that right there. And it's all in the same marker in the same way it's drawn. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no. Maybe the doll was there. That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Oh my god, this music. Every time this blue badger shows up, this music plays. Oh my goodness. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Wait. Yeah. Okay. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? What does the blue badger have to do with anything? Other than the police chief loving the blue badger so much. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. I'll see how ridiculous this is later. Alright. Oh my god. This is gonna be awful, isn't it? Oh my god. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. What the fuck does that mean? What? This is certainly most unusual. Also, I'm trying not to use your real name, but calling you Megusuno is so weird to me. I don't know. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until... Wait, hold on, that sentence sounds wrong. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. Probably a typo, maybe. It's just not right. I had to reread it again to make sure I didn't make the mistake. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, Stop, please, don't pursue this any further. No, Lana, we will pursue. What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Oh, okay, Lana, please, let's get the truth out. We need the truth. When I saw that man raise his knife, I don't think there's a point in pressing that. I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. I think she's convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife because there's no way Marshall would kill someone, I think. Unless that's exactly what she saw. I don't know. But we've just theorized Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. It's a broken concrete sword piece. It's still sharp enough, probably. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. So she didn't know. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. I still think she might have stabbed them. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Broken sword piece at minimum, yeah. Oh, maybe she's the one that threw the jar thing, the vase? Maybe that's what she used. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. Who I thought was Mr. Marshall, I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. Okay. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. I still don't understand how he saw it. Of course. See, I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought of this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. Maybe he had the design but didn't use it until now, when people would have forgotten about it. Or when Emma might have forgotten about it. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Oh my god. Every time I see that image of this crying thing, because the right eye just looks like he's crying. Like he's suffering. Now I finally remember. Oh, what? He is in existential pain. I know! He's suffering. And his battery makes him dance forever. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. That may well be, but what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. What could it be? What was that Emma saw the lightning flash? Who is this blue badger really? Wait, let me look at what we have first. So it's obviously not him itself. I don't know. Who is this blue badger really? No fucking idea. Oh no, my stuff. Okay. Specific item you need, okay. Since it looks like the blue badger from a certain angle, got it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. There's only a few things that can be on that scene. This piece of cloth, which is obviously not it. This was definitely there, so it might be this. I mean, there are traces of blood, so it's highly likely this is the thing. But yeah, okay, let's look at that then. Because nothing else here is remotely shaped to anything, so let's check this out. Okay, right, so... Oh. Oh. Oh no. Wait, something's missing from this though, other than that little piece here. But... Wait, which angle is perfect though? Because this angle's not quite it. I just want to make sure. So when I have to present this fucking thing... Oh, maybe like the other way? No, wait. But I think... Okay, anyway, here we go. I'll just present it and then we can figure out how to do that in a bit. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Oh, so did the chief get the inspiration from that picture though? Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Oh. Now I just need to find the right shape. I just need to find the right shape now. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. I believe it's some sort of jar that has a hole on the bottom for some reason. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't, as it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Fucking Christ, stop! Enough! Enough! God, this rotate system is awful. Hold on. Oh, like, okay, hold on. Oh, please work with me here. Rotation. Like that? Is that it? Is that it? Okay, here we go. That has to be close enough. Wait, what do you mean? It's perfect! Wait, it's perfect though. Are you kidding? That's exactly it though. Come on. Oh, I have to do it all over again. Okay. Alright. Very close. Wait, so like... Come on. Like... I mean... How is this not it? This is like perfect. Does it need to be higher like this? I mean, they have to give you some freedoms, like some leeway for this. This is this is perfect though. Like this? Oh my god. Okay, let's try this. You're kidding, just a little bit? It was just a little bit, come on. Well, is this a miracle or what? Oh my goodness. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. Oh no. No. Edgeworth, it can't be! Oh my goodness, dude. Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this, and there's blood on it, so there's proof that it was on the crime scene. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. No, listen dude. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Either... It's obviously not the location. We know it was in that room. That's where they found them. But the murder weapon? Or the murderer? It could be either. I'm gonna go with... the murder? I guess, whatever. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At the very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, or... knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. Wait, that's on Gant's side of the office. Yeah, okay, he says right there. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. No, she just said the office. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office. Possibly. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Wait, okay, so this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? Emma? Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Okay, so the suit of armor holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Of course the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless. Oh. Is it Gant? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh my god. Oh no. What? That's so fucked up. Maybe that's why she fainted. Oh my god. Oh no. There's a bad ending for the case? Are you freaking kidding? No. Oh my god. It's unique from the normal guilty verdict? Okay. Well, I'll try my best not to do that, because that was an accident. Oh god, okay. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. And that's why Lana didn't want this. Oh god. Imagine that coming from you. So she tried to hide it, maybe. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? So she's done it twice. Maybe that's why she used the knife. Oh. I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive proof, evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. And that's why she wanted Joe Dark to be dead so fast. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Yeah, nothing really adds up together. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one matter or another. That's not impossible, because he would not have died instantly. Okay, a message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Maybe that's why this was wiped off. Oh dear, okay. I see. Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. And Emma didn't really commit, I mean, she kind of did, but you know. Yeah, I just saw it here. Oh dear. No, enough of the blue badger. No, guys, stop. Looks like everyone forgotten this is just a jar, yeah. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looked like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yeah. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments of his left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. Precisely so, all we need to do is connect these points. I'm gonna save. Because I don't want to fuck it up. Alright. What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Yay! Connect the dots! There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances, his murderer's name. Wait, do I have to... Oh, okay, so this isn't too bad, okay. Connect the dots! Wait, oh, okay. Wait, do I have to connect these as well? No, okay. I don't think so. Because it only lights up on the spots you can, so I'm gonna assume not. God, this is so hard. I remember in the Japanese version, Emma's name was written in kanji. Oh my god, that would have been awful! Because my kanji's not good, and then to have to know the kanji for a name? What is her Japanese name anyway? Wait, so I don't need to connect these two. No. Okay. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocent. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Hozuki Akane? God, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't be able to do it. God. Alright. Emma. The kanji are all written out in the court records, so it's not that bad. Okay. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. She just wants to protect her sister, but I feel bad. But like also, of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Oh no. So I was kind of right, but not with the way it happened. Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. God, Gant, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? God, that face is awful. Yeah, but someone else gave him the evidence. Gant is trying to put all the blame on someone else. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Well, he was still a murderer. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Gant is such a... Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. This fucking guy. God, I hate Gant. He's so awful. Pisses me off. There's more. Let me save this and then I'm gonna take a slight break. Maybe a bathroom break, something like that. But I'll be right back. I shouldn't take too long. Let me just get the let me just get the break going. BRB, not this. This. Yeah. Let me just get some music going and then I'll be right back. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Don't know why I said it like that, but here we go. Okay. Time to finally excuse me, finally get this solved. Excuse me. Sorry about that. February 25th. Okay. Let's hope this doesn't go bad. Alright, here we go. Sorry, Edgeworth. Oh, hold on, let me check that. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Oh, Gumshoe! Coming out of nowhere. Oh? Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No, come back. Come back. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? This is the second time this has happened. Oh. You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective runner all around while on duty. Wait, no, we didn't do that. Let me tell you this. tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she even asked me to give you this, or give this to you, if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. I like the picture on the front. It's very cute. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. A message. She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. The chief. Oh, my chair. My squeaky chair. Okay. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. From Miss Guy explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Big book for 2 rules. Doesn't look like the book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. There's so much. Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She didn't. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. Yeah. And we're going to expose him. Mr. Gant. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Oh, dear. This case is so... oh, God. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. You totally said that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. That's true. Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Oh, but we needed it. We need that to happen. It's okay. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call for the next witness. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Oh God, who do I call? Who are my choices? I mean... oh my God. It would have to be him though, because he's the one we're trying to convict. I didn't save right before though, but okay, let's... He's so suspicious. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Also... hold on. Let me look at this. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. He's so entwined with this. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Oh, God. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? No, it's court. I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? God, that uncomfortable look. Just state your fucking name. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana System murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made quite clear already. No. There are still some things unaccounted for. Like the role you played in all of this. Yeah, you were the one hiding the evidence that we found. Sir? Son? Either you're very brave or very foolish. Both. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. That's so stupid. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. It won't be a waste of time. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Yeah, why would he be unconscious, though? No, it doesn't, Judge! If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna save here, because... Oh, we can be in some big... We can have a big issue here. Okay. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. No, we need all the details, so the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky. Okay. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that night— Okay, dude, stop bringing that up. It's not funny, no it's not. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. Why did you know to go to the office, though? So if he was stabbed by... Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yeah. Apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to him were those two poor girls. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Gotta press everything. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. But how do you know it was moved? So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. She did admit to that, but what can I present that would have him be the one that forged it? Because we know he did forge it. I mean, because this was found in his, you know, God, let's see, Neil and I, to make a long story short, we slipped up. We found this in his case. It's cut in half. He has the jar. You know what's interesting is that this was broken when we found it first. I wonder why it was broken. Because Emma was written on it clearly. The only thing I can really present is either that jar or the cloth, but there's nothing really going for me with the cloth that would bring it back to him, but the jar definitely, because it's in this photo. There's one more thing as well. So the jar, the cloth, and the photo? I don't think so. The list? Would it be the list, maybe? Because the list was found in his desk. So I could do the list. I guess we could do the list. Alright, we'll do that. It's the list or the jar, but whatever. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, oh, so the jar comes up anyway, okay. But a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal, cannot speak, investigation. Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Or do you mean you? He's trying to push it back on me. Alright. You were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know? Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. He'll end up paying to work. Yeah, that's fucked up. In light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. This guy is such a piece of shit. Okay. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment? And a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. They were in your safe. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. Believe I'll press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. What the fuck are these guys talking about? Okay. This guy. Oh, now you're saying we didn't do it. The fuck? I'll have you know. As slimy as this guy. Yeah, he's a fucking prick. No, but we have... Okay, I'm not gonna present this, but we have, His safe number was that, right? 7777777. Anyway, we'll keep going. Hold on. You can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Drake was convicted, then they're worthless. Okay. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end of the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Why? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you reaped from all this. That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, remember Von Karma, he killed someone just for destroying his perfect record by a little bit. God fucking Christ, dude. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? Yeah. Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Ugh, come on. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. So, wait, is my theory that he wanted Lana as chief prosecutor right? Don't be silly, Worthy, you know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. That's one person, dude. There, it's out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. So you would be an accomplice if it was in it for me. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. Wow, he's really showing his true colors. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Fucking Christ. Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? The accomplice would have been Lana, right? Yeah. Who else would it be? Yeah. Because like I said earlier, maybe he did it so she would become chief prosecutor. Because if he... I mean, because she was a detective at the time, Marshall got the award, so he was most likely to become chief prosecutor later, I think. Maybe something like that. But if he becomes chief and gets rid of thing out of the way, oh god, I can't speak. Now he has her under his, like, you know, control. Fucking words. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Yeah. Something like that. God. Oh my god. It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. No, absolutely not. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? I mean, who else but her? It's so obvious. Come on, guys. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. Despite not having been a prosecutor before, right? She had been a detective at the time. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Okay. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Judge! Are you... Oh my god, this judge is killing me. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana? Unless, that is also what happened in this incident. Of course I'm talking about the Goodman one, the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone has been controlling her. Look, now look, he's he's threatening him now. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. Yeah, like... You can't be serious. What? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder, that is... impossible. Not impossible, just hard to capture because he's the chief. I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier-to-understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Okay. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright, that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Can I prove it? I mean... Oh, God. The only proof we have is his ID, right? But we don't have that it's his ID written anywhere. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. Okay. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Show us this evidence that ties the chief to the murder. We only have... this. Does this ever get used, I wonder? Because, I mean, he made Edgeworth go in to make it look like Edgeworth did it. But... I think. Because even she used Edgeworth knife, and then it would work out that way, but... Will this work? Because we don't have a name on it, but... It's your number. The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. It was, I mean, it was the only number we had. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was this. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant? He's twitchy. You entered the evidence room on that day of the crime. Oh, he's twitchy. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law, but right now this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go into the bathroom alone as a— what the fuck? Wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? Okay. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Would that be, this? Maybe. Yeah, can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. I'm gonna try this. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. How would he would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. He filed it, how do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. To transfer the evidence out. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room, like, together. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. No, that's right, because Goodman needed to... According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. That's true. Holy shit, that face. Chief Gant, you didn't. Oh, he's becoming unhinged. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? He put in your car, dude. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. Wait. No, let me save! Okay, fine. He used... Wait. No, I don't think so. He used... Wait, is it this? Wait, did he... But how would that work? No, it can't be that. It's too small. Or it's too thin, but... Or is it the parking stub? No, but that doesn't explain how he got it in the car. But it explains how he got it, I mean, to the thing. Right? So, it's either this or... Alright, so this... Because he wanted him to go in and get the thing and that he could move the... I don't fucking know. Whatever. Here we go. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Like, I don't think I mean, obviously Edgeworth didn't put it in there. You mean I carried the victim's body without knowing? Precisely so. But wait, even you know I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. The screwdriver. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Oh, so you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk, without knowing. That's so fucked up. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. I want him to do the demonic visage that he did earlier. Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took of the prosecutor's office. Whatever. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. That's what I was saying earlier, though. Like, if he was killed at the prosecutor's office, he wouldn't be head out first the trunk. It looked like the body looked like it was trying to be dragged out. That's what I've been saying from the beginning. He was totally being dragged out. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. What? Sorry, Raito, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make time for the early bird special. Gant? Motherfucker. The cross-examination isn't finished yet. So you're going to just run away after all this? Don't make me laugh. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, Fucking Christ, dude. I hate this guy. Fuck, dude. I mean, all I can do is present evidence. I mean, the only person who knows what happened is Lana, right? But she's really set on not doing it, but... I did save, right? Whatever. But we can't... No, he can't get away with murder like this. Fuck him. No! Oh, okay. Oh, there goes my button mesh. Oh, wait, or should I have said no evidence and something else would show up? I don't know. No, maybe I should have done that. Because I really don't have evidence. Well, I'm gonna do this. No. I'm gonna present something and then reload. Because I can't reload from there. No. Okay, because I mean, there's nothing. He's like literally so suspicious. What a fucker. Yeah, but he's guilty, so it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, what? Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Lana. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. Lana, she already, like, told us, Phoenix, what happened. But will she raise this in court? Yeah. Judge is the stupidest person. This judge is so stupid. This judge is the stupidest person ever. God. This trial is so long. What? Chief, just go! He's threatening her in court. Judge, you can't seriously... Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Gant, you asshole. Judge, you can't seriously think that's okay. Oh my god. He's something else? Yeah, he's a prick. I'm not a detective anymore. Judge needs to lose his job? He should have lost his job from like the first fucking thing. The first trial we had. Oh my god. Oh, don't worry about it. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. Gumshoe, what? My... I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Maya. Oh. Can't replace Maya. How is it he always gets the upper hand? Because he's on the top. He's like the top dog. He gets everything that he wants. It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Oh my god, that means he can't testify against it though now, because he won't testify. It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything as well. Emma! Poor girl has the shock of her life. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. Oh, poor girl. I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. To follow Chief Gant's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. Fucking Christ. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal, yeah. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into the armor. Why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. Oh, such a brave kid. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Oh, God. It's getting so intense. To be continued again! No, I'm still going. It's still early enough. It's 10:27. I can keep going. That judge is the worst. He's the worst judge in the world. He fucking sucks. Fucking caviar lunch, I'm remembering. Okay. Now then. Will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? You are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. The truth. The absolute truth. No matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. The chief needs to be fucking arrested too. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get him. Get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You're only hurting your sister, dude. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? But Lana? She's not, though. We know she's not. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. For years. Okay, so I need to find something within her testimony. Okay, well, let's just press for now. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would have been 5 years. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth in this blackmail theory. Fucking Christ. Girl! But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You did stab him with a knife, but you didn't kill him. Fucking A, I hate this. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. Apple pie! Hi! Oh, voice cracks everywhere. Even worse than before. How's it going? What the fuck? I just took a sip of my tea and like a little bit spilled out, but I don't know how that happened. Strange, okay. Because it didn't like dribble down or anything, it just like splashed out. That was very strange. It's going really good. I'm glad to hear that though. That's good. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. Simulation error, yeah. I don't really know what happened, but that's okay. It was like tiny drops, so that's all good. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. God, I want Gant to be fucked so bad. Okay, when I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Okay. It got quiet. It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. No. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. Lana, stop! Something like that. No! If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. It's probably knocked away in the struggle. Fuck that, no. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect you, yeah. After all, this is what everything boils down to. Oh my goodness. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Ugh, so gross. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Does it really matter which one I choose for this one? Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? Well, this one I guess makes sense. So why did you move the body? You know, now that I think about it, why would you move the body? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. So why did you move it there? There's no point. The reason for that is simple. There's no reason to move the body, I don't understand. The piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. But it couldn't have been in pieces because Emma was written on it when you found it. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. That's impossible, though. No! If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. No, because he wrote Emma's name on it. That makes no sense. This is so confusing and I already played this. I think even if you played it, it would have been... because everything's so fucked. Apparently the jar shattered at the time of the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that. Yeah, it could... Listen, Emma, your name was written on there in blood. If it was broken, it wouldn't be written like that. That big as well. It makes no sense. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. No. Listen, lady, that makes no sense. This is so absolutely stupid. I don't know if presenting this will work, but I'm gonna try presenting it. Okay, it works. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. Do you? You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention... Lana, why the fuck you lying? I think at this point, she's just too afraid of Gant. A significant contradiction within your testimony. There is. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." Yeah, no, because her name's written on it. It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. Exactly! In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Lana. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Excuse me. It would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. Oh no. Dude, I almost said your real name. Is this where the good ending and the bad ending lies? Oh my god. Oh no. Megu. You don't need to tell me, but like, oh my god, this is probably it. Just tell us exactly what you saw. Oh no. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the... It's close. Oh no. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Oh god, okay. I'm gonna save here. I really don't want... I need a good one. I need it to be happy. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. No, but it couldn't have been broken, that makes no sense. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. I don't think she did it. I mean... She's still saying it was in pieces, though. I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Like I said, it's not broken. It was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. What do you mean you didn't have time? Come on. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Oh my goodness. Lana. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. What did she use? I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. But you just said you didn't have time. Contradicting everything. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. that's not true, but... Okay, so you illegally rearranged the crime scene. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I didn't know. Treated you so badly all this time. After all, we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office and the police office. The chief of detectives. Because there is a piece that she must really care. Okay. Well, I mean, because she says she got all the pieces. There's no way she did. We know that. Okay, so... oh god, because like, because we found the last piece in the chief's office, so we know she didn't get all of them. She contradicts fucking everything, yeah. Yeah, I'll try this, we'll see. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. Oh, maybe she thought she got all the pieces. We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. Yeah. Using his 7777777 code. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it, yeah. So the part she didn't wipe off, if what she said is true, that it was wiped off. The witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Every last piece that was still there. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. That would make sense though. How would Gant get there later if he was... Chief Gant got there before you. No, but she just said she got every last piece with her... The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. Even once I wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were all in... This chief, oh my god. This fucking chief, dude. Oh my goodness, okay. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Right, okay, so maybe... Whatever, okay, we'll just... It wasn't broken... Maybe Gant broke it. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? Yeah, why would he need to hide it? Just say I was there first, found the murder. It makes no sense. It wouldn't incriminate the chief at all unless he was hiding something else. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Oh my god, why would he do that? Well, we know. In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Did Gant really? Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Ow! Wait, so did Gant really kill? Or... oh, I don't know. Stop trying to protect the chief. Yeah, he doesn't deserve your protection. He's a fucking... oh my god. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. Is Edgy helping? Of course he's helping. In a weird way. Because even this is fishy. His job, his life is on the line here. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Lana, shut the fuck up. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Judge? The judge needs to be fired immediately. He should have been fired yesterday. Months ago. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? I think so. Lana may be right after all. No. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. Oh, okay, so oh, okay. If you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Is it what you really saw, or are you gonna lie again? Come on, please. Lana, please. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. What? I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? You did? Wait. Is it in the book? Why won't it let me look at it? Wait, but I didn't... I didn't get a book though, did I? I mean, a picture, sorry. Wrong word. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? So it has to be like in the book. This one? Oh, now I can look at it like this. Alright, fine. Open the book. Open it. Peel. Oh. Oh my. The actual crime scene. Oh my god, this is part of the shirt. The actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Oh my god, but if I put... Oh, and that fingerprint shows that she pushed him, but... I don't know. I don't want to use... Oh my god, this is hard. Lana's picture inserted into the court record. No, no. But that has Emma's fingerprint on it. I don't want to use that. No. No, Emma, we're not. Oh, God. No. I can't do that. Fuck. What else do I have? So we don't want her to be the murderer. So there has to be another way. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled. Who's... Gant! Why are you here? This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Get out of here! Go away! I'm afraid it's too late for that. You told me you didn't want to testify. You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. Fuck you, dude. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Fuck off, dude. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. Just go away. No, I don't. But someone does. I don't. Excuse me. Nope. I'm not showing a thing. Because this guy is totally guilty. I don't have it. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. No? I'm not gonna let Gant win this. Fuck you, dude. Nah. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. You opened my safe. You took I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Emma, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See that victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Dude, you're just showing that you have been concealing evidence. Is this going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department? Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. The fuck, dude? God, I hate him. Why couldn't he just leave? I was the first person to arrive at the scene of the crime that day. It then occurred to me that I could use this situation to control Lana. What a freak. A creep. I knew Lana, if I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for your aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. Oh my goodness. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. That was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. For insurance, of course. Oh god, he's so awful. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? That's true. So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory's mine. So do I not show evidence or do I show evidence? I could show it, but I feel like... I mean, at this point, I can't say no. So maybe there's something else. He did... You know, I was wondering about this before, because I was thinking about what if this was used, like, because earlier I was thinking, what if, not Lana, sorry, Emma was like, used it to wipe the thing, but then Lana said she wiped the blood, so I was like, okay. And then this is really clean, so I'm kind of confused on that. Okay, here's what I'll do. I will save, and I will show it. I will show it, but there's something weird about it. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. It could not have been forged and must be authentic, conclusive evidence. No, like, we know whose handprint is on it. Whoever the fingerprints must be the real. No, but it's not bloody though, guys. It's Emma's. I'll tell you. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Predicted? We don't know anything, but okay. Well, we can't lie about it. Emma. But, I mean, there's one thing going for her. They're not bloody. They are yours. Gant, listen. No, listen. No. 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 You knew those No, come on. She didn't, though. Guys, look. Miss Sky. It's not over yet. Look at this. Look at this. Come on, guys. Look at this. Gant, shut the fuck up. Gant, you're talking way too much. Shut up. How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer. No, you did that. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? I think it's you, you fruity bastard. Come on. Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? No, but look at the thing. I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. Look at this. Listen. Listen, okay? Listen. Look at this. It's cut out. And the blood splatter is like as if he was murdered after it was cut off. What if it was a setup? Like he was stabbed or something and then put on there? And then like... God, I need a drink. Give me a sec. What if he was set up, put on there, God, anyway. I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Okay, hold on, give me a second. Okay. Your tyrannical reign ends in here. Okay. Wait, no, I keep doing that. No, stop. The photo, right? See where the piece of his vest was cut out? His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Is so clean. There's no blood on it. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, There's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Oh my god, what the fuck? Who could have arrived at the scene before Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. You know, that makes sense, because if he was on the... if he was impaled on the thing, there's no way he could have written the name on there. Because he was impaled. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted, only moments ago. That you personally cut out this bloodless vest of the victim. Bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance. You proved that you were the actual murderer. Oh my god, demon. Oh, I was gonna screenshot it and it slid away. Oh my god. What a sad, sad face. You almost had me. What the fuck? How much longer are you gonna go, dude? Okay. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. I mean, I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has found— What plan? What plan? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Purposely concealed. Let's see. Well, earlier we didn't show it, and we showed the jar because that we still had we had most of the pieces from the what is it? The crime scene? The fake crime scene? So we could use it as evidence. So maybe it's one of these things. Because we didn't have permission for this. But we had most of the pieces of this already, so it's fine, right? Do I have to show this later, or... Let me save. Because then, by that point, they already knew about the jar, so... Purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of evidence. I guess I should say I mean, that's pushing it though, right? Does that work, or... I did save, right? Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. Because I don't know. I don't know if that's pushing it. I'll try. Does that work? It's not that I didn't present the evidence then, it's that I couldn't. There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. Don't listen to his lies. We got the book right here, dude. Is this evidence legal or not? Oh no, come on. This one. Oh, I have a headache. Oh no. Evidence is law. I've done my homework too, Chief, kind of. We got it this morning, but still. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Wait, I thought it was like the first rule. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And, here in the crux of the matter, you see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. But it's not bloody. Wait, when was this presented? Only a few moments ago. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh no. Fuck you, dude. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. You, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Oh my god. No. Oh, that face. Oh my god, he's gone nuts. He's lost it. He's completely lost it. Oh, I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. Oh my god. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. That's why you killed him! That's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Oh my god. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. Chief... Why? I mean, I know why, but why? Oh dear, oh dear. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." And is that how the glove got stuck? Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. Wait, what about the knife? I couldn't just pull it out. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. On Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. Why? But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry I couldn't think of another way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make lots more than us detectives ever will. Fucking Christ, dude. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from his locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So... Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Oh boy. After all, they all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Oh, I mean... Fucking Christ, dude. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Oh my goodness. Trying to compare yourself with the man then, huh? One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Oh. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji. Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Yeah. Sorry, old friend. Oh, God. Oh my god, my body, I'm like so tense. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Ah. Oh my god. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. I want to know... something that... So he killed good men. Why did he kill... Wait, so he killed Marshall, right? What? I'm so confused still, oh my goodness. There are two things I want you to understand. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. Have they though? Why did he kill him? I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you might make it to the top. Oh, that's so pretty! No! No! Oh, wrong button! I missed it. I was gonna take a picture and I missed it. Whatever. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You have suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. She smiles again? Okay. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. Stop it, I only did my job. He's getting flustered. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Especially you, Judge. Especially you. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder, however. Although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Dude, she's free! Of course she's smiling! It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Yeah. The way you panic to take the picture. I mean, I know I don't use the pictures that often. Like, I always take pictures to do, like, art references that I don't use them as often. I should, but I don't. But, like, I like having those pictures. I don't know. It's just nice. This trial has gone on far too long already. Oh, believe me, I feel that. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant Miss Lana Sky not guilty. Yes! Oh my god. Confetti! Yay! That is all. This court is adjourned. Fucking finally. Oh, God. At long last, it's finally over. Oh my god. This case just went all over the place. Emma. Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can't see why Mia Fey thought so high. I can see why Mia Fey, whatever. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Is it the smile? You know, I did my best too. Oh, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Oh. Gumshoe, this is the third time. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No, come back. Come back. Oh, it's always the same. Come back. Oh, Gumshoe, do you have your job back? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all around while on duty? It's not his fault. Someone else is making you do it. I've seen oh my god. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Okay, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Oh, that's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Your sister! Guys, smile. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell you if you won't. I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Oh. Sis. Oh. I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. For your sake, the truth which was actually a lie. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. Oh. No. I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. That's true, because Emma didn't know either. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. I did it. Just safe measure, too. Never mind, this is a better photo. No one can change the past. Oh, this is so cute. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. Oh. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Oh, God. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Thank you both for all that you've done. Prettiest picture in the game. I know, it's so good. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Wait, where is he? Stop hiding and come over here. Wait. Come on, Edgy. Where was he hiding? I can just imagine him peeking out behind a pillar or something, a column. I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Oh, right. Well, I'll be going now. No, come back. Alright, bye, I guess. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. Shy Edgy, he's so cute. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No! No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. No! Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. Don't listen to him. Come on. Excuse me. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. Gant's the worst person to listen to. I know! Edgeworth, don't listen to him. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. I don't think you'd be... Oh, God. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Oh. Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. Oh! You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Oh, she's smiling so much now, it makes me happy. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Are you kidding? What do I have? Something neither of us would have been able to find on our own. Wait, what the fuck? What is it, the evidence list? The book? No, it's not the book. The only thing both of us had was the evidence list, right? What the fuck am I supposed to do? The evidence list? Okay, just that's the only thing, you know? So, alright, here you go. Because that was the only thing we both had like a half of, right? Because he had the other half, exactly, that's what I was thinking. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh. No. If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgy. Twinsies. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. God, I hate that face. Like, if the face was drawn a little bit, I don't want to say better, because it's not a bad drawing, but a little bit more like Edgeworth, I guess, then like, it's so weird to look at. His eyes are so high up, it's very strange. I know, it seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. Don't leave. Oh. I'd better be going too. Alright. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here. This is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. Oh. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Oh. So pretty. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. I already took the picture, so I'm okay. Faith that their lives have only just begun. Lana is the responsible big sister that gives books. But Emma is a sister that will appreciate the books, I think. Despite that, you know? Because some people are like, oh, I don't like books, but her dream, you know? And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Oh, Gumshoe! Like, I like you, but you ruined the moment a little bit. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Oh, but you don't even get a lot of money. Detective. Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who will be footing the bill. Oh, God. Think I can afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, Bill. Oh, good. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Poor Phoenix. Oh, there it is. I arranged for a friend of mine to... Okay, I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Oh, that's so cute. Congrats on finishing the game. Thank you. I will play the other 3. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing the other 3. But I think not next stream, but maybe the one after that or the one after that even. I don't know. I definitely will be playing more though. I mean, I bought all the games, I might as well play them. But I really enjoyed it, so it's not like it's a burden to me or anything. It was really fun. Headache inducing, frustrating for sure, but very good. This one took the most streams, I think, though, this case. How many did it take, like 3 or 4? My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. You can do it, Meekins. He wants to be just like Gumshoe? Okay. I don't want to skip it because they have all these nice, like, oh, the blue badger's still up. They have all these nice little post-credit, like, things. I don't want to skip it. Oh my god. Still crying, and to this day. About 4 streams, yeah. Oh no! Oh, he's finally collapsed. You did a day in a stream, yeah. The blue badger's completely gone. Marshall! She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Oh. I still don't know the motive behind Neil Marshall's murder though. Whatever, it's fine. I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. Tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer's as sweet as victory. It's like, why would he kill him? That was never solved. Just that he did do it, and then made it look like Emma did it. Just makes no sense. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. What did he say? Let's see, what was his name again? How do you not know? He said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... He is the worst judge. Absolute worst. Oh my god. So bad. So bad. The internet says he killed him for power. Oh. So maybe... Because earlier I said maybe he killed him to get... Lana into the chief prosecutor position. So maybe that's what happened. And then he just used Emma as a way to make her follow everything he wanted while in that position. Maybe that's what it was. Because, if Neil Marshall... Because he won the prosecutor trophy, right? So maybe because of that, he was like, no, he has the best chance of being chief prosecutor. I need to get rid of him so I have an easy, so I can solve the case easy, become chief, and use that power to put Lana in the chief prosecution position. That makes sense. Okay, it's just in the game they never really specified that. So... so it confused me a little bit. Can't believe I'm going to Europe, wow. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Oh. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh wait, I have to open it? In the JP version, she goes to America? That's so funny. You know, I read recently that the reason... So, the Phoenix Wright story actually takes place in Japan, right? But in the localization, I read, and I think, Meg, you told me this too, maybe. I don't remember correctly, but... Oh, I didn't even open it! No! Capcom, why? I wanted to open it. No! I took too long. God damn it. Now I'll never know. Fuck. Are you kidding? I'll never know. I'll look it up. Ace Attorney. Hold on. Scientific investigation book. I want to know what's inside the book. Show me. I see one photo. It doesn't say that this is the photo that's in the book, but I'm gonna assume it is. It's a photo of Lana as a detective and Emma as like a little girl in like a school uniform, I think, wearing her hat. It looks like it would be part of this game, so I'm gonna assume that's the photo that was in the book. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, what was I saying though? Oh yeah, okay, so... oh, that was so annoying. Anyway, so... it takes place in Japan. So like you were, like, maybe you were saying that in the Japanese version she goes to America. And I think in the localization, because they made it into America, the people at Capcom in Japan were like, no, this is in Japan, and to make it more clear... I'm going to check if I have it. It's fine, you don't have to check. I'm gonna assume that's it. It's all good. But to make it more clear, they made it more obvious that it took place in Japan, I think. In later games, I might be wrong. But I think I read something like that. So... that's so funny. In the Japanese version, she goes to America. Oh, I'm so mad. I wanted to see it, like, open the book and look at it, though. Like, it's fine, but... Alright, but it's 11:51. I'm not gonna do a new game right now, I just want to see... Okay, so I can do it from here, and then like this. Okay. So next time I stream Ace Attorney, it will be... Justice for All. I think next... the karmas are also, like, from America instead of Germany in the Japanese version. I can watch a playthrough? I probably can. I also have a friend who streams this, so if she gets to that point, then I could just watch her do it. But yeah, next time I stream this, it will be Justice for All, I think. Yeah, that's the second one, right? Yes.